Hello, Apps here from Dimp Digital. Welcome to Buy It or Bin It. On this edition of Buy It or Bin It, we take a look at Life is Strange. Life is Strange is an episodic, narrative-driven adventure game developed by Don't Nod Games and published by Square Enix. As always, let's start with my cards on the table. First off, I play this on the PlayStation 4, although it is available on Xbox One, Xbox 360, PC and PS3. Secondly, Don't Nod Games were responsible for a sci-fi action adventure game called Remember Me, and that was released in 2013. I didn't get a chance to play it because it came out just before The Last of Us and I was waiting for that, and it got a bit of a lukewarm reception anyway. So coming into Life is Strange, I'll admit I wasn't expecting too much, but I was blown away by what I experienced going through Life is Strange. It's a great example about how good a narrative-based video game can be when it's done correctly. Finally, as usual, I'm not going to touch on anything specific to do with the story because I do not want to rob you of those moments in the game itself. So apologies if this seems a little bit vague, but in all honesty, I think all of my reviews are purposely vague when it comes to the story because I really do not like spoilers and I wouldn't want to put you guys through that at all. Let's set the scene for Life is Strange. So you take control of a photography student named Maxine Collifield, and she discovers she can rewind time. It's pretty much as simple as that. You get power, and you get the chance to use this new skill, I guess you could call it, and you can use it to solve puzzles. You can use it to change your dialogue options if you're not happy with it, or you can just use it to experiment and piss around. It's a simple but very enjoyable tool that you're going to call upon time and time again to get you out of jams or just to correct something that you think you may have done wrong, but doing that might have a different effect. So it's fun to go back and forth between the time travel elements and just see what could have happened, what would have happened, and then making a choice based on that. And that's the difference between this and the Telltale games, is that each choice you make, there's no timer on it, so you get as long as you like to sit there and ponder over a choice. And you think, oh, that probably makes it very easy to decide, but because they're so well entwined with the story, there's no real kind of black or white answer with it. They're very, very grey. The choices in Life is Strange are on that line that you don't really want them as a player because it's difficult to decide what to do. And like I said, because you can go back on some of these choices and change your mind, you can see the short-term impact of both of them. So that plays with your mind because you see both impacts and then you think, right, which way should I go? This has a better short-term outcome, but what are the long-term repercussions of that? And honestly, the impacts of these choices are felt throughout the entire game. Even the small ones, the smallest little movement of something can have an effect later on down the line, whether it's the way someone talks to you or whether it's a big moment in the story that crops up. It's great the way they've done this, and it's done as well as I've seen in any other games where your choices do matter no matter how big or how small they are. Now, a lot of people will see that it's a narrative-driven game and probably think, oh, it's not a proper game, is it? 'Cause you don't really do anything, do you? You just sit there. It's like watching a film. You're watching a film, aren't you? Well, you're not in any of these games, and I'll always say that you are playing a video game and you are invested in it, but Life is Strange is a lot more hands-on anyway than those titles. It lets you explore environments and you're using your time travel mechanic to change things or to unlock things or to get to places that you couldn't get to before. You can change your dialogue options. You can use it to look for clues. You can find items. You're exploring the environment and you're soaking up the whole world of Arcadia Bay as you're doing so. And you're also looking for these opportunities to take great photos because Max is a wannabe photographer after all. So you get those situations pop up as well. But the story itself, it's fantastic. It hits so many different themes. It makes all the characters believable and relatable to probably people that you've met in real life or seen in films or whatever. You know these people, but they're kind of like there and they really are fleshed out and really well developed. It's a real emotional roller coaster that keeps you invested throughout the entire series. It's so well written and structured. I mean, there are a couple of moments where it kind of sags in one or two of the episodes, but in general, the flow of each episode standalone is terrific, and the flow of the series is fantastic as well because they all pack a punch in their own right. But as the series goes on, everything just escalates in this beautiful kind of like upscaling mess almost that you're gonna have to deal with. The only real negatives I can say about Life is Strange is to do with the lip syncing, which is a bit off and a bit kind of bland, and that plays into the fact that the facial expressions aren't really there. In the characters, kind of their eyes will well up a little bit. That's all you're going to kind of notice, that they're sad or happy or whatever, and that can take away a little bit of the emotional edge of some of the moments in the game. It feels a little bit empty sometimes. Final, like, minor criticism is that Max feels a little bit stiff and wooden when you're moving around in it, but it's nothing to completely ruin the game. You know, the game itself, as I said, is a terrific piece of work. It's packed full of interesting and emotional and unique moments that you probably won't find in other video games or other mediums. They make time travel fun. It's never been this much fun since probably Back to the Future, but even that masterpiece didn't carry the emotional clout that Life is Strange does, and it will make you laugh in some cases, and in some cases, you know, it might even make you cry, but it will definitely make you realise that pissing around with time isn't always what it's cracked up to be. So just be careful when you're in there rewinding time and messing around. But when all the dust is settled, there is only one issue outstanding. Life is Strange. Should you buy it or bin it? Fucking buy it.
Whoa. What the fuck?